staff ride, military officers would gather their staff, ride out to an actual battlefield, and evaluate the real-world factors like terrain, weather, etc. The stands. Participants would stand around an area with topic significance and openly exchange the human factors and experiences they should consider. Lastly, integration. They reflect on the lessons learned from the entire group and give all students better tools and more awareness for the future. Today, there's one simple question. What is one thing that you can pass on to future generations to prevent this from happening again?
People were given the opportunity to work in a time where finding a steady job was difficult. And Los Angeles City Fire Department was responsible for approximately 400 square miles long with 57 pieces of equipment in service.
Feel free. Okay? Hardworking, right? They were in a position where they were working hard enough.
Advantage of what we've learned since the 30s, since the 50s and 60s till today, you know what I'm saying? Obviously with the mechanized equipment, that's huge. With our aircraft, that's a game changer when it comes to any of these fires, and we've seen that. I know when
it kind of was like, they called it, it was very archaic. And then I happened to work out in the valley and we had brush with the A&F and you watched the
Hey, my name's Ken Nelson. I'm the Fire Management Officer for Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority, and I'm here today on a nationally sponsored staff ride to talk about the 1933 Griffith Park Fire. One of the benefits of getting this large group together encompasses all the local agencies from as far south as San Diego to all the local departments right around here. It gives us an opportunity to meet and greet each other, discuss common tactics, discuss common problems, and it will certainly help us out when we come together at 2 a.m. on an emergency fire. It gives us an understanding of who each other is and each other's abilities, so it really helps coordination when it comes time to fighting fires.
800, right? So 800, I give them utilities. 800, you got utilities, stay outside the IDLH, right? But as they go down that Delta side, I got folks inside that are trying to get out. Their direction.
As far as the light flashing fuels.
Yeah.
When was the last time fire went through here? Isn't it different?
You do have heavy brush that's going to slow down ingress and egress with surface fuels that will burn rapidly. So you can't get committed and have things happen quickly.
I would say experience, operational experience, that confidence to follow them because you know that they've probably been there before, or at least if they haven't been there before, have a good way of incorporating that essay in there to make a very good decision. They can communicate that effectively as well. So I think.
Hi, I'm firefighter Jeremy Dan, assigned to Fire Station 35. Overall, it's been a great experience here at the staff ride, having all the different agencies here, and for all of us to get to know each other, have camaraderie, and then learn about the incident that we've had here, the fire in the 1930s.
Hi, how's it going? My name is firefighter Tyrone Hurst, also at Fire Station 35. Just as firefighter Dan was saying, we're here dressed down. We don't have our full uniforms on, along with the other agencies. We're here to learn as individuals, as firefighters, and just taking into account how the people who fought this fire and lost their lives were just regular people. That's why we're not in uniform, and trying to take in the sacrifice that they made and trying to learn as much as we can from it.
Hi, I'm firefighter Nielsen, assigned to Fire Station 35. We're happy to be here today. Sorry for flash. Learned a lot, learned about this fire, how it burned back in the day, what the tactics they had, and meeting the different agencies here today. Having a uniform on, like Tyrone said, and we're here having fun.
I would definitely recommend this experience for any young firefighters, just to meet other agencies, meet new people, get to learn about the history of this incident and other incidents. It can also help shape future operations and how we can stay safe out on the fire grounds.
I would recommend this staff ride to any individual in the community, but also firefighters, because of the large loss of life that occurred, and the inexperience of the people who ended up becoming firefighters last minute and stepping up to the duty and then having to lose their life, and reflecting as a professional on my training and how to avoid any circumstances like that. So I definitely do recommend it for everyone, just to honor the ones who have passed.
Down to that individual on the fire.
So back then we had the one individual kind of overseeing the mass, right? And nowadays, what's that tool that you're?
Columns.
Delegate.
Delegating.
Well, you got face to face. You got.
So if you're always kind of staying in front of it and a student of the game, posing those questions, it just keeps everybody in the game. And then second, I think, is holding people accountable. Even if he's my best guy and he goes rogue or he goes and does something, you don't turn the blind eye because he's my best guy. You actually, and you don't have to set an example of him, but you need to correct that action because everybody else is watching what you're going to do with that guy. And I think that's where we fail a lot in the fire service, because
of these occupancies, and it's working its way up towards the top of the topography right now. So based on the information that you can gather, go ahead and brief your crew on their firefighting efforts.
As in, like, just go for it?
This is your 4 people on your engine.
Oh, all right. First of all, hey Rich, how many acres?
Right now, it's a city acreage or a real
Hey guys, so we're first on scene here. We have a fire. Obviously, you guys were looking at it. It started here at the camp. It's spread up. We got 3 to 5 acres. We do have the light winds right now. It's obviously an east-facing slope. So we have some, the topography here. You guys, we've been on fires before. We have some brush experience here. So we have a water supply come up. Obviously, we laid in. So we do have water. We have our engine. We have our hand tools. So we have plenty of companies coming in. What we're going to do is going to go ahead and start to anchor this fire with our Hi, my name is Amy Bassman. I'm with the Los Angeles Fire Department, and this is my first time at the Griffith Park staff ride. I would say it's been a really great experience walking these hills and taking a look at the different challenges that the people here in 1933 had during that time. We've broken up into different groups, learning about the history of what was going on back in 1933, who was here, who was actually fighting those fires, who were the first on scene. I had the opportunity to just talk about brush in its entirety, and that's where it's really come into play that we've had members from all over these western states, especially from Southern California, who have different knowledge, skills, and abilities, and have really great insight on what we're looking at now and possibly what we looked at back in 1933. So it's been a great opportunity to learn, and I'm just excited to be here.
In order to flee the approaching flames, retreat was downwind and uphill. Most men chose to head to the ridge. Some ran side hill in attempts to cross the fire before it cut them off from the main road. Many first-hand accounts from the men that opted for the fire road said that they were forced to dive through a wall of flames. Near the lower end of the canyon, the steep walls within that ravine forced some to seek refuge in a swimming pool at the camp, while one man jumped into a stone planter where he covered himself in sand. Some accounts say backfires were ordered by the foreman at the lower end of the canyon without understanding the tactics or the outcome. One man received a commendation from the mayor's office for jumping in a dozer and climbing the ridge. Marvin Page put his blade down and tied a line through the heavy smoke and fire into the old fire break, which is where Toyon Hellespot sits today. Fire was now traveling up the steep slopes at approximately 20 miles per hour, as the fittest man ran towards the ridge at approximately 3 miles per hour. Witnesses reported hearing high-pitched screams towards the top of the ridge, and then a sudden silence. Within 7 minutes, the fire activity diminished, the smoke began to clear, and reveal the horrors of what had just occurred.
This really messes me up because several of us have that slide that we deal with. So again, thank you guys for coming here. It's true to me. It's true to a lot of folks. Getting yourself out of topography, getting out of alignment, eliminating yourself from being in this position in the first place. However, these folks were 25 feet away from making it the top group. So you always talked about, and you guys at Camp 2 always talked about alignment, where you were in the fire, never had time to pull the shelters, even though that they were available to you. Laterally, moving out of the fire's path, going side hill, if you will, like they talked about. Again, that's not something that's...
Features lay out in this state. You can almost see, you can almost visualize that fire streaming across the face of this slope right here, can't you? You can almost...
So my name is Brian Anderson. I'm the superintendent of the Bear Divide Hotshots on the Angeles National Forest, and participating in the Griffith Park staff ride from a tragedy that happened in 1933 here in the city of Los Angeles. If I were to give you one reason why I'm participating in this particular staff ride, is because if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. I think it's extremely valuable that multiple agencies are coming together, multiple personnel from multiple agencies are coming together for a common goal, and that's to learn from the tragedy that was had here. Even though there weren't fire personnel specifically involved, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that, and I think collectively as we come together and share all of those lessons, what they are, share different perspectives from different cultures, it's invaluable to anybody that may be coming up in the fire service and looking for the lessons and the value and the training. This is one of those tools that we have available to us for training to be able to take those lessons and use them on the fire ground today, use them in everything that we do to ensure that we don't repeat some of the same things that happened throughout history that have cost people their lives.
I didn't know as many details about the incident that happened just right there, and that's my first stint right there, so it's that's a lot of info that I have now that I could pass on to the crew here, because if there is a brush fire there, we will be first in. So, you know,
how we're taking care of things back home and like dealing with losses and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you guys, you know, for just the experience that you guys bring, the willingness to help, willingness to be here. We notice it, so thank you.
The takeaway from today is continuing to be open about what's going on around you. Learn from every incident, and something I think I try to drive home, that you ever catch yourself rolling up on something and you catch yourself saying it's just it's time to check yourself. And I know I'm going to have a really open conversation with my wife and my daughter when I get home tonight. I've always left it to, oh, they're fine, they got it, you know. They see the pictures, ask me if I had a good time. So, yeah.
What I learned today was just that history continues to repeat itself, even though we do a lot of training and stuff like that. In different incidents, in different, you know, different areas of the country, and you know that this just is going to make us better in the future incidents.
Okay, I learned that today, just to be honest with yourself, especially with your family members, your loved ones, because especially in this field or this career, that it's very dangerous, but at the same time we can look out for each other to keep each other safe.
Opportunities to kind of step up and do that, and I think the great model you demonstrated here was those facilitated discussions that we all had. I think the context that came out of that, the content, was hit home to all of us. I think it took something away from each one of those stations. And so I think if you can facilitate those kind of difficult conversations and those tough ones, especially when we start talking about that critical stress, I mean, that's where we start. So that was awesome. So thanks a lot.
Good lessons to be learned, leadership and subordinate, both parties. The subordinates, you know, that I have now will be leaders in 15 years. So we'll, you know, hopefully they'll get the bug and they'll come back around full circle and invest. And you know, this fire is, you know, you had subordinates that follow diligently under the command of some leaders and supervisor type.
Thank you. You guys should give all yourselves a round of applause, because what came out today was awesome.